Hello, my beautiful viewers on E360. How are you feeling? It is Wednesday. It's another show, episode 15, and we've got an amazing guest today, Catryn Becker, and I've got my co-host Krista, and my actual host for today is Howard, 3 times in a row, and then my beautiful Laura. So we are truly excited to bring this amazing author onto your doorstep, onto your viewers' eyes or viewpoint, if I can call it like that. So we are truly excited for another author's journey. And not only will Catherine inspire other authors to continue their books and complete their book projects, but Catherine can also inspire young and not so young, but always wanted to do a book, to write a book. May you be inspired. Thank you so much, my beautiful Howard. I'm going to hand over to you. You have introduced beautiful Catherine to me and the Diamond Beauties. We had an amazing coffee chat. She was already a guest on the Power Hour TV show. So all over to you.
Thank you. I'm glad you're putting Catryn to work, and we're so pleased you are here. So, Catryn, the panelists, are going to introduce ourselves, and then you'll introduce yourself. And
Perfect.
we take this very seriously, but we take it independently. We have not spoken about your book to each other. We each have probably 2 or 3 pages of notes, and we're going to talk about before, during, and after your authorship of the book, and we're going to take this in a direction that's going to be, motivate, educate, and inspire. And because I could take like 6 hours and go through your journey in your book, but we don't have that much time. So first of all, I want to see, Krista, can you do a short introduction for us?
Absolutely. Hi, I'm Krista. I'm from Ontario, Canada. And I can say I've been there. I've experienced the pain of surviving a head on collision, holding my husband as he passed away in my arms. And I'm right now battling chronic illness. And that's why I wrote Skip the Pain, Experience the Pleasure. And I have a tagline, and it says, cut the crap that's holding you back so you can live the life you love. And CRAP stands for Clarity Reveals All Possibilities. And when we can get clear on all the possibilities we have, it clears our mindset so we can go after what we truly want and what we're really here for. Thank you, Howard.
That's amazing. Laura, please.
Yes, hi everyone. Welcome, Catryn. So excited to have you here. I'm a thought energy empowerment expert. I am the writer and creator of the Living Energy Formula. Shout out to my shining brightly dude, man, Howard Brown, for that. I just believe in the written word. I think there's such beautiful energy, the written word, the language behind storytelling, I just think is so empowering. And it activates thought energy and how we look at negative and positive and neutral energies in the writing process. So with each spotlight author, I'm all about empowerment and how we can really showcase how you empower through your writing. I live here in the USA, and I can go on, but I'm not going to. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Laura. And then obviously our co-host and wonderful visionary, Sinette Van Breda. Please introduce yourself, my lovely dancing queen and beautiful butterfly.
Oh, thank you, my beautiful. And I don't have my miracle man. I don't have the butterfly here
That's
at the
okay.
back.
You have the diamonds. You have the diamonds.
I've got the diamonds. So thank you so much, my beautiful miracle man. So Catherine, I call Howard my miracle man, and I quickly want to do a shout out because we have our first comment already. It's from Natalie, all the way from Canada, and she said, "I'm excited to." She's excited to be here with us. So thank you, my beautiful Natalie. So I am your voice amplifier. I create space and stages for millions of incredible souls around the world to share their wisdom, their brilliance, and their inspirational stories to the world. Thank you so much for being here, Catryn. And thank you for having a dance with me with your Forever song when we had our coffee chat.
And also, Laurel jumped in and said, words have always changed the world. So thank you, Laurel. We're so glad you're participating today. So I'm Howard Brown, and I am the original Mr. Shining Brightly, right? We're shining our light with the world today. Oh, look at this. Full house. Woohoo. I love it. So I actually am the author of Shining Brightly, and that's my memoir. I am a 2-time stage 4 cancer survivor. I am grateful, blessed, and lucky to be alive. And I help struggling leaders get back on track, because we all are struggling leaders trying to get back on track. And way we do that is we use our light to relight our flames and then go help others and lift up others. And that makes the world a better place. So, Catryn, take over. Tell us who you are and about your book.
Well,
And
it
an
is
intro.
so great to be here with all of you. It's such an honor. I mean, such amazing people doing amazing things. Like that's my jam. That's where I get so much inspiration from being around inspiring people such as yourself. So it's an honor to be counted among you. My name is Catryn Becker. I live outside of Houston, Texas. I am an author, as we're going to talk about, but I also design and implement comprehensive wellness programs for stressed out women. And aren't we all so stressed out, as even if we're mothers, not mothers, grandmothers, contemplating children, not, it doesn't matter. We've been in such different places and spaces that we need some time for ourselves. And so I help create those opportunities to put themselves first in a really delicious self-care way that helps connect them with their inner child and bring them back to their center. I have a couple of Guinness World Records, which is something kind of fun about me. I also MC events and speak on stages, and I love the opportunity to be able to use my voice in the written word, in the spoken word, and in the musical word.
Nice.
So wait a second. Guinness Book of World Records?
Yeah.
Do share. Do tell. Do tell. Do tell. 2, not 1, 2. Do tell.
Yeah. The first one is the intentional one, and is the one that I really feel like I earned. And the second one I kind of just stumbled into. So the second one is for being part of a group calling the most people calling birds at one time. So I was at a nature festival and they were doing the event there, and we just happened to walk by, and I was like, another Guinness Book of World Records? That sounds fun. So we all did the sound for the North American cardinal.
Can we hear it?
So I can't whistle, so they taught us how to do it in whistle form and in spoken form. So for those of you who can't whistle, it's cheer, 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 birdie, birdie, birdie. So that is the North American cardinal.
Thank you.
That was the paparazzi. No, Sinette was giving you the paparazzi effect. I didn't see that coming. So not planned. The show is not planned that way. All right. Well, let's get to business here. So
I'm just sorry, Howard.
Yes, you want to go in? Yes.
What is the one that you have?
Oh.
Yes, the one that I'm proud of and that actually earned was when I was in high school. I was a part of a team that built the world's largest operable electric guitar. We modeled it after the 67 Flying V Gibson guitar. Gibson actually sent us a guitar so that we could scale it properly. It was in 6 pieces, needed a semi-truck to move it, and was 42 feet in length and 17 feet at its widest. And we played it at a No Doubt concert. And we played the opening note to Hard Day's Night by the Beatles. And it's such a cool thing to have been a part of.
So it actually played at a concert. It was a working guitar.
And No Doubt.
Yeah,
and
no
how
doubt.
much fun is that?
It was amazing.
Well, we are off to a roaring start for the show, but what we're here for is the voyage and the return, the path of self-discovery. So, Krista, if I love, oh my God, those glasses are incredible. We are shining with those. They look like lipstick around your eyes.
Your eyes.
If you'd like to start with the first question, please do.
Absolutely. And I am wearing these because Guinness, in case you're wondering, and who has the biggest, most eccentric glasses on TV, maybe I'll make the book. So putting it out there
That's so
for the
cool.
universe. So no, really, I absolutely, truly, really enjoyed reading what you sent, especially because I'm all about mindset. So when you talked in the beginning about how it's easier for people to look at our physical and our emotional goals, but how to attain our mindset from taking action. Can you speak a little bit about that?
I'm not quite sure I understand the question exactly where you were kind of going. Can you state it again for me?
Okay. So it was on page 22. So you talked about how you
What
noticed
did I
how
say?
I trust me, I get that's why I wrote the page. You notice how it's easier for people to take action psychologically and emotionally on their goals, but the obstacles that still prevent them is what they have in their mind actually to take action.
Yeah. So, we have our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. And so in our conscious mind, that's where we set all of our goals. So we say, oh, I'm going to do this thing, whether it's, maybe I'm going to run a 5K or I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to be healthier. It's usually around kind of goals that we have to self improve. But then people do all of this stuff, whether they're putting time or money, some sort of investment into themselves of that goal, but then they don't actually achieve it. And so that got me really curious, like, why? Why do we do this? Like, we've put effort in terms of money, in terms of our time, in terms of energy towards these things, and then we let stuff get in the way. And our conscious mind knows in the time that we're like, why aren't I doing this? Why am I not following through with the things I've said? And so that just got me really curious. And my background's in engineering. And so I guess having that sort of engineering mindset, I was like, I got to figure this out. I got to understand what these blocks are, because there's some sort of stumbling blocks. There's something that we're blind to. And, if we can shine a light and, figure out what those are, and we can avoid those obstacles, we could really make the change and the true action that we're looking to make, whether it's in our lives, personally or professionally.
No, you nailed it. I love the way you talked about the conscious and unconscious mind. I'm all about that. So thank you so much for clarifying that. And I know the listeners got a lot out of that. So thank you.
Thank
Absolutely.
you, Krista. Sinette, my dancing queen.
Thank you, my beautiful medical man. Can you tell us what was the reason, your why, that you have done this chapter? And was it difficult to decide to zone into that part of Scotland? And you actually start off with the end result. Can you elaborate, please?
Oh gosh. So the year's 2022, and I always set some sort of vision board up for myself. And so as I was just asking the question of my subconscious, what do we want? What is that? Which I think is a really important question for us to ask ourselves. Our brain is hardwired to want to answer questions. So when we can formulate it that way, it really helps us to actually come up with answers. And it was just this kind of moment of like, you're going to write a book. I was like, I am? Like, I'm an engineer. Like, I don't write for fun. Like, I didn't take a single English class in college or any of my masters, like, at all. Everything was very technical writing, or I'd write proposals while I was an engineer, but like nothing ever for fun. Like, I don't journal, I don't do any of that. So I was kind of like, a book? Really? That's weird. And it was either the very next day or the very same day that kind of came into my mind. I saw a post on Facebook, and it wasn't even talking about a book. It was just, have you ever taken a really amazing journey? And I was like, oh, I've taken so many journeys. So, I commented on the post and got connected to the person who made it. And she said, hey, I'm writing this book and I'm looking for authors. And I was like, I have to say yes. I don't know what I'm going to write about, but I have to say yes. Like, I literally just had this come into my consciousness and then I see this. So of course. And I hadn't gone to Scotland at this point. Scotland hadn't happened. So I did not even know the miracles that awaited for me on the trip and the learnings that I would experience. I thought I was going to write about other stuff. And I've written 3 or 4 different drafts, all completely different, trying to figure out what is it that I want to say? What is it that I want to put out there? And I wasn't happy with any of it. And I attended all of her writing workshops, and every time that would give me a new tangent to go off of, and I'd write something based on that. And it just felt like so much effort. And then it was 3:00 in the morning on a Thursday. And I was one of the first people who joined the book. And now the deadline is fast approaching. Like, all the other chapters in the book, all the other authors had come on board, had submitted their chapters. Everything was happening. And the publisher, Nicolette's like, Catryn, we really need something from you. Like, you got to get it together. And I was like, okay. So it was due on Friday, 3:00 on the Thursday before. I wake up straight out of bed and I was like, I have to write. So I snuck out of bed, in the dark, using my phone as a light to try to not step on the cats or the dogs and the shoes that the kids have left in the floor. And I, sequester myself into the office and I just start typing. And it was probably around 5:30. My husband opens the door and he's like, are you okay? I was like, shh, I'm writing. I need you to get the kids on the bus. Don't bother me. And I just kept writing and writing until the book was done, or the chapter was done. And I thought, this is it. And I sent it to her. What's in the book is almost exactly what had come out of me in that moment. And what's so amazing about that is anytime I've talked to someone else who felt like they wrote something that was coming from another place, it's always at 3 a.m. So I feel like 3 a.m. is like a magic hour for these kind of things. So there's something to that. So for anyone listening or watching who wake up at 3 a.m. with an idea, act on it. It's going to be magic.
Wow, I love that. And here's to you, my beautiful Catryn.
I love it. So, Laura, my living energy expert, what say you?
Oh my God, I have so many things that I want to say. I love the 3 a.m. A shout out to old school people here with Dr. Wayne Dyer. He talks about that 3 a.m. consciousness awakening.
Oh, yeah.
It's just amazing. It's a time when we think we're sleeping, but when you really study the depths of knowledge and energy, it's really when we're most awake. And so that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
I got the chills and a hot flash at the same time.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
Yep. I also love that this engineering aspect, the way I'm looking at it, has transcended into this authorship. I write about becoming the architect of thought and redesigning and re-engineering thought processes in order to activate this creativity in us. So you've just hit on so many points as a writer, as a storyteller, and the very beautiful organic way it's all happened. I think it's such a testament to all the listeners out there. No matter what you're doing, follow that thread of consciousness or divinity or faith or that nudge from the universe or the God force. There's something in every one of us that I think really needs to be expressed. So my question is around the edge. I love the edge because the edge can represent positive or negative. But for those that are in either kind of energetic structure, how do you empower your edge? Because we know we hit the edge many, many times throughout our life. It's not like we come to that precipice and that's it, right? One of my favorite sayings is when you arrive to the precipice, one of two things will happen. You either will fall to the ground or you will grow wings and you will fly. But we all know that we come to the edge often in our life. But how do you personally empower your edge?
Well, and it's been an evolution with that, because I think, did you ever see the movie Inside Out, the first one? There's a scene where they're going through the imagination and they start out as like these 3D characters, and then they're 2D characters, and then they're like abstract thought. And so I'm having like that reverse process with understanding my edge. And I think my original way of thinking of it was in a very sort of two-dimensional thing, like as a plate, right? You know, because we always kind of have that analogy that we got a lot of plates spinning in the air. So I thought of it as a plate. But my current understanding of it is more of like an upside down mountain. You know, it's this kind of, and maybe it's even a right side one, but I think of it more in this in this way. And so I think of it as I'm constantly spiraling upwards. So that's how, you know, you find the edge and then you kind of follow it, but it realized that there's evolution and growth as you keep coming around. And there's points in our lives where we feel like I'm back where I started, but that only is if you're looking at it in a 2D flat plate. But if you look at it in the 3D, you might be in a similar place, but you're a level or two above where you started. And that level of awareness has really transformed kind of my own grace with myself, as a human, as a mom, as a wife, as an entrepreneur. Like, you know, coming back to these places, and it's like, no, I'm not revisiting the same place. I've learned all of this that's helped me get here, and now I get to learn more as I keep going. So it's almost like following that edge along and not being scared of the edge or bashful to explore it.
Oh, I love that answer. What a beautiful, empowering answer. I think that metaphor and the visual, you could tell we were kind of on the edge listening. And the way that you described it, and we can see it, whether you're riding a bike, you're hiking, you can kind of feel what it is to be on the edge and not be afraid of it and knowing that it's leading you somewhere else. So I love that. Very empowering. Thank you. And thank you, Howard, for allowing all the girls to go first.
Of course, I'm still a gentleman. So, Catryn, I have to tell you, I got a theme that you might not have intentionally intended. This is such an, I read it twice to see if the theme came back, and it did. But there's a lot of juicy nuggets in here. Again, we could go in many, many directions, and I have pages of questions to ask you. But this theme, and I think it's going to resonate now, but I call mentorship the lost art of leadership. And oh my God, did I pick up you reaching out to mentors, collaborators, the doTERRA oils, Dr. Bill, and then also God. Talk to me about mentorship and where that fits in your life.
Oh, gosh, I feel so blessed to have had so many incredible mentors. And you're right. Like that wasn't intentional at all.
I know.
But it's definitely just a theme of life and looking back. And I think we all have mentors, but I think sometimes our ego gets in the way and we can think that it's all us. I know I've been in that place where it's easy to be like, hey, look what I did. But really having a strong gratitude process and practice within my life of saying like, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful for this person. And then I go follow back the chain. And I think, just intentionally sending them good energy and good vibes and be like, I am so thankful for you. And then I would have never met you if I hadn't met this person. And I'm so thankful for them. And I wouldn't have met them if I hadn't met this person. And just going as far back in the chain as I can go. And I really love that because it is a tapestry. There is a pattern, but we have to stop and look back and have that gratitude for the people that have helped to give us a leg up. I think most humans are great people and want to help one another. And it's about being vulnerable and realizing that vulnerability is one of the greatest strengths. I don't know how we got it twisted that vulnerability is a weakness. But having that vulnerability and being receptive to accepting the help, because I think it's always there. And especially with God, I know for certain it's always there with God. but we're not always receptive enough to recognize it and to accept it.
Wow. I don't have the props, but you're getting Mr. Shining Sunshine there. If he's even turned up the right way. So there's my little prop. You get the shining. But so that vulnerability is allowed you to be a mentee. You're allowed to take the knowledge and experience of others and embrace that. And so my follow on is, because I am the host, right? So I pulled out a quote about dream, surrender, then create.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to tell you that, and you say to listen to your heart, let go. We did a whole show on the Power Hour about letting go. Okay. And then having faith, which we've done some shows on as well. How do people do that? How do you step into that? That it seems like it's hard work.
It is hard work, and you'd think like, oh, I wrote a chapter on this. This should be easy. No, it's a lesson I personally have to learn again and again. And it's that same edge of finding that place and coming to that place of humbleness. But I think there's so often where we love control. We want to control all the outcomes. We want to control all of the situations. But when you're controlling something, you're holding your fists tight. You're holding on to that situation and trying to direct it to your will. And God is so great and he gives us free will and he lets us go do that. But when we surrender, that's just having our hands open and being able to receive and be willing to go with it. And so that flow is something that it's not easy to do. I have to consciously remind myself of it so often. God gives me so many opportunities to practice because there's that sort of type A kind of quality that I have where it's just like, no, I'm going to make it happen. I'm a mover and a shaker. Like I can bend things to my will. But that's where I meet the resistance. And that's where struggle comes from. And that's where regrets can come from and all of these things. And there's a piece of being in alignment that I find that, when I do come up against the hard things, when I'm not in alignment with myself, when I'm not with my true self, that's when I want to be more controlling. So now I have that as a trigger to say, oh, wait, where am I not in alignment with something? What is not quite fitting here? This is a really good indicator that I'm trying to control something. I'm not in alignment with my true self. Where can I make the adjustments and how can I lean into surrendering more and letting go?
It's incredible because I stopped reading and that made me really contemplate and think. And when a book or a page does that, you know that it's powerful. So I'm going to say it again. Dream, surrender, then create. Listen to your heart, let go, and have faith. It's really powerful. And I want to thank you for that. And just to me, I internalized that and I thought about it and just a wow. You get just a wow from me. So now by the time I get back to you, because I know the timing of this show, I do something called a speed round. So I just given you a little heads up that we're going to do a little speed round for me when you get back to me. But,
all right, I'm ready.
All right, you'll be ready. Krista, you're up next.
One of these things I love that it's live TV when someone like Howard steals your quote.
All the time. Me too.
That's
Sorry.
fantastic. But that's why we come very, very prepared. There were so many insights that I got, but one of the best lines in it was when you said, first of all, big shout out to doTERRA and their oils. I'm a big fan. So, and congratulations for all your success. Oh, there you go.
Yes.
From
Our publisher, Sonea, she's a doTERRA.
I
don't have mine.
I know too. So fantastic. Big shout out to that. But I know when you were, you're trying to plan everything and do everything, and you were really kind of struggling, and they asked you, did you do your part? And you said, yes, I've done everything. Like, I really, really did everything. And they said, yes, then give it to God. It's above your pay grade.
Mm-hmm.
So how hard or how easy was that to shift from that controlling, I want to do it my way, to I've done everything I could, and now I'm going to give it over. I'm going to surrender it to God. And I love that it's above my pay grade.
It's above my pay grade, right? It's something I tell myself all the time. And it's funny. Like part of going to Scotland was because of that vision I had of that Celtic goddess. And so the first thing we did when we got to the Isle of Skye was, we got there late at night, and first thing in the morning, the next morning, was to go to her castle ruins of Dunscaith. And I thought, like, the sky is gonna part. Like, I'm just gonna be like hit with this wisdom and like, oh, and nothing happened. So there was a moment of just sitting there and being like, I did what you asked of me. Like, you sent me this vision. I made it all happen. We are here. I'm where she lived. Like, I could not be more connected, and nothing. But it wasn't about any of that physical stuff. So I had to take a bit of a moment. Like, I just kind of sat in the car, and Eric, my husband, was driving. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, I just need a minute. I just need a minute. And I just kind of sat there and had a conversation with God and was just like, I don't need to understand. It's above my pay grade. I'm grateful for being here. Thank you. And then the next day is when it was miracle after miracle that just happened and unfolded. And I think it was from continuing to live that lesson of, I've done everything I can. And I think as humans, we always have this idea of how something is going to work out. We get so caught up in the how. And, I love Simon Sinek's book of Start With Why, but it's not just start with why. It's like, keep the why. Why am I doing these things? And instead of being so concerned about the how and the timing, that's the other thing humans get so caught up in, that we expect everything to happen in some sort of preconceived notion of time, which I think it's timing is the important thing, and time itself is irrelevant. So being in that flow and then just allowing these miracles to unfold were really, really what kind of set it in. It was like, gotcha. I got it.
Love it. I love it. And it really resonated with me when you said gratitude. You were so, you felt full of gratitude the next day, when you got it, you got these ideas and all these miracles started to happen. Because I feel when you're in a state of gratitude, that's really when miracles happen. And I can tell by the way you wrote that you were full of gratitude the whole entire way. So, yeah, great job.
Thank you. And just reliving this book brings back the gratitude. And for that, I'm grateful.
Awesome.
Excellent. Oh, wow. Miss Dancing Queen, Butterfly, Sinette, what
Thank
you
you
got?
so much. So I also wanted to talk about it's above my pay grade. So beautiful. Krista talked about it, but your book, your chapter, you showed a picture of your a warrior woman face.
Mm-hmm.
How did it
Yeah.
feel to present that or be painted? I don't know if you did it yourself. And how did it felt when you were painted? And I'm sure you had to act a little bit. So can you tell us a little bit about that story? Because that must be the story behind the story behind the story.
Yeah. The whole point of the retreat, the Love Warrior Retreat, was to be a balance of our feminine energy and our masculine energy. And so they really approached both of them. And so many women, especially the ones doing doTERRA, we're out of balance. Like, we're such healers and compassionate and caregivers that sometimes we're too much into our feminine and not enough into our masculine. And I was a little bit different. Being an engineer, I came from a very male dominated workforce. So there was many times where I would live in my masculine energy. And so I felt like there wasn't a balance. I felt like it was the struggle between who was kind of in charge, rather than realizing there's a place for and, where I can be both and at the same time. So being in that place and realizing that the warrior energy that we all have access to tap into doesn't need to be something of brute force. And that's the whole part of the control. So for me, my warrior, she's strength. And it's this very like graceful strength. It's a quiet strength. It's a confident knowing who you are strength and not needing to be this kind of loud, boisterous, forcing strength. So real not even realizing it at the time, but that's part of the surrender was to letting go of this notion that strength has to be hard. It can be a soft strength, and that's what happens when you merge the feminine and the masculine.
And thank you so much for that beautiful picture. Because when I saw your picture with your painted face, it brought so much warmth to my heart. And I thought, wow, incredible. Because your eyes were like full of love, full of fire. There was something beautiful about your picture. Thank you for sharing.
Well, did any of you guys play the music while you read it? Because I put a clip in there so that you could listen to the Last of the Mohicans theme, because
That's cool.
that was such an important like tribal sort of experience to have that drums with it. That really, like, I can't think of that memory without the music. They're so interconnected in my memory.
Now, I didn't see that. I saw the barcodes, but I didn't go in there. So I will definitely do that. Thank you so much, my beautiful
Sure.
Catryn.
Yeah, the beat of the drum definitely intensified it for me. It was great. It was awesome. All right, Laura.
Yes. So there's too much going on. I think Catryn and I had a lifetime somewhere because I feel like the way she's speaking, I don't know, because I have balance and my oil right here. Yep. And the vulnerability. My brother and I have been wearing these t-shirts that we created when we started mind development work a long time ago. And it's strong enough to be vulnerable. And it is about that grace within the strength to be vulnerable that then is a strength, and so I love the way you really express that. It's you don't have to be that full-on bulldozer masculine self. There is a way to have that warrior princess come out and really own it. So I have a question around, and you mentioned it, and I'm not letting go of this question around timing. How do you spark inner courage? Because I'm a big believer of empowerment, and really creating this discovery and this voyage to what an empowered life is so that we can then empower others. And I'm really starting to work this language out there in the world because I think it's very distinct to have an empowered life. But how do you personally spark the courage to really advance forward when the timing does not feel like it is in correct alignment?
It's a great question because, and yes, as you were talking earlier, I was like, we need to connect after this. So I'm glad it's mutual. Yeah. So I will always often say things like, everything is possible. It's just not always instant.
That's cool.
And it's because we live in such a society of instant gratification. Like anything we want to know is immediately at our fingertips. We have access to everything in the split second. But that's not how time works. That's not how God works. And we don't always understand the reason why. And, I had this opportunity just a few months ago. There was, a business opportunity that came up in July. We're recording now here in September. And my husband was really excited for it and was like, have they called you yet? Have they called you yet? Have they called you yet? And I was like, it's okay. It's going to work out. I know it's going to work out. It'll be okay. And, we furthered along this business opportunity, and he was still every day, have they called you? Have they called you? Have they called you? And I was like, it's okay, babe. Just take a breath. And it went on way longer than what it, should have taken. It should have only been a couple of weeks. And here we are now. It's only getting resolved now. So it's been, a month and a half. But what happened is they came back and they said, you know what? we actually think you're better for this other role. We'd like to offer you way more money. Would you be okay with that? Gladly. Thank you so very much. And so it was a great reminder for him that, like, if I had forced this and made it happen in that timing, we would have missed out. So again, it's above my pay grade. I've done everything I can, and what happens, happens. So having that as a mantra really helps to kind of reinforce when that, 3D human piece of us takes over and is like, oh, but I want it now. It's coming.
I love that. Again, just empowering the listening audience. We all can relate to that urgency, that push, right? That aggressive energy because we want what we want in the moment. And again, the grace and the beauty is in the surrender because then the creation unfolds very naturally. So thank you. Very beautiful.
Thank you.
Mr. Howard.
It's incredible. So I want to share a little secret before we get into the speed round. But for those of you out there in E360 and Roku TV land, we're all joining in on a collaborative book, and we want to invite you as well. So we have something called The Art of Connection, 365 Days of Abundance. And you can join us. It's not too late. There's a few pages left. You write 1,000 words about what abundance means to you and how it applies to you and your brand and what you do. And come join us. We'd love for you to join us in there as well. And you can start your author journey, or you can add to your author journey. So just want to make a big shout out to Robert W. Jones, to Natalie McQueen, and to Buddy Thornton. These are our family and friends. So we're saying, hey, come shine with us at Art of Connection.
And Howard,
Yes.
I just want to let everybody know on E360, please look down at the show notes. All of us websites is there. You can connect with all of us. And Catryn's as well. Plus the link to buy Catryn's book is all in the show notes, my beautiful E360 viewers. Just press down below. Press below.
Thank you for that, my dancing queen. All right, so I'm going to actually ask for some shorter answers, but we're going to do the speed round. This is kind of my thing now. I look for certain things in the book now. So I'm going to say something that called out to me, and then what does it mean to you? So playing small.
It's because we're playing in these boxes that other people put us in.
Okay.
That short enough?
No, there's no script here, so it's fine. Healing.
It doesn't end. It's part of the journey. There's no final destination in which, I'm healed.
Magic.
It's all around us. It's accessible to us at every single moment.
Where do you press it? There you go. This one's a little interesting because it spoke out to me. Prophecy.
I think we all have such abilities to know things, and I think prophecy and intuition are very closely connected. And by listening to our intuition, we can tap into that prophecy for our divine path.
That's another easy too, but it's not so easy because that was a little more difficult. All right, so you wrote something in the book called your emotion code.
Yes, it's not my emotion code. It's a practice.
It's a practice of emotion code.
Yeah. It's another modality. It's another tool in the toolbox to help us, all along that healing journey.
And then you put in a diagram of something called the grand design. Speak to that.
It's that going backwards and seeing and taking the moment to appreciate all the steps that led us here. I think it's, the Apple founder guy. What the heck is his name?
Steve Jobs.
Thank you. Golly.
Or Steve Wozniak.
Steve Jobs. He has a quote about talking about being able to see it while you're in it and what a gift it is. That's a terrible paraphrase, but that's about taking that moment for appreciating where we are in the present by appreciating our past.
I want to tell you that was stunning to me, because we are always trying to move forward, sideways. Rarely do we actually look back at the steps we took and what we learned from them. And that was just stunning to, sort of towards the end of the chapter and things like that. Last question for me. What inspires you?
People. People, the incredible souls that I have been blessed to meet, and how they spark different thoughts and feelings. And yeah, the right people inspire me endlessly.
I love that.
I also tell you that I have to just double down on the picture of you as the warrior princess, Skaha. It was incredible. Incredible. So thank you. People have to go out and buy this book. I mean, I didn't read the other authors in it, but just reading your chapter is the price of admission. So we're heading down towards the end a little bit. So we have shorter questions from Krista, Sinette, and Laura, and then we're going to hand it back over to Sinette to close us out. So Krista.
Perfect. So quickly, you're talking about in the beginning when you were doing your, you were an engineer, and then you had the gurgling feeling that, this isn't what you want to do. You want to help people. And then you talked about the SRT method. Can you explain a little bit about what that is?
Well, and I've taken the SRT principles and retweaked it for myself. And so now I call it STR, for subconscious thought release, because that's really what it is that we're doing. And it's about understanding, and originally it was taught to me as negative emotions and positive emotions, but I've reframed that as helpful emotions and no longer helpful emotions. And it's about how our thoughts have these emotions auto-generated in our subconscious. Because once we've experienced something enough, the brain's like, I got it. I've created a program for it. Don't need to put any conscious thought again. So we have these thoughts and these emotions just come, and we're like, whoa, where did this come from? So it's about reprogramming that so that those thoughts that were no longer, or the emotions that are no longer helpful, are not auto-generated anymore.
Oh, fantastic. I have this acronym, WAIT. What am I thinking? So that goes right along with that. So thank you so much.
I love you, the acronym for wait and crap.
Oh,
I have one for regret. And that's realizing that every transformation, or realizing every goal, requires embracing transformation.
Fantastic. Love it.
So,
wow.
I love the acronyms.
Wow, Howard, yes. So, please forgive me. I cannot remember. I'm trying now to open that so that I can pronounce the hotel that you ate, that beautiful picture. Can you describe in a sentence how delicious the food was eating that day in that beautiful place that you were?
I don't think a sentence could ever possibly cover how magical it was, because every single sense was activated. It was the food as well, but then we also had the room that we were in, and the company that was there, and the conversation that we were having. So it was just an all-encompassing, all of the senses.
All-encompassing.
I'm going to say just very quickly, not per se a question. Again, this is about human to human connectivity. I have a very famous quote around the world that if you're going to look back, use it to propel your future. Mm-hmm. And this is so much of how we're all aligned. You can have it. It's on my Instagram page. It's been there for a long time. I just want to honor you and what you have shared with us personally, our family here, and then the global family as an author. You've sparked, I think, our imagination and our curiosity on many levels about how to move around the edge. What it appears on the up top, there's something happening underneath it as well. And I really love the surrender, the dream, the surrender, and the create. I think it can mean so many beautiful things for each individual, but that surrender and that not pushing of the timing. And I love that your partner, who is one of the biggest magnifiers of where we still need to, put work forward, or where we've done enough work. So you've got that confidence to say to him, I've got this. I'm relaxed. And then for him to actually become empowered through that advancement that you've gone through, so he could actually see in real time, my wife was chill about this. Her intuition, her magic, right? Her warrior sense was right there with that universal coding, and look at the miracles that happened. So I think, again, it's so beautiful for those of us out listening that when we read, we become knowledge. And then when we apply this knowledge, we really become the magic in the universe. And I think that's what you kind of instilled in all of us today. So thank you.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
So as you can see, we take this seriously and we come at it from all different angles that you as an author may never have expected. I want to give a shout out to Mitchell Levy because we were in a clarity workshop is how we met. And we went into a breakout room. We decided to connect and continue the relationship. That doesn't always happen. And we've been following each other, getting to know each other. And this book just gave me just a whole new insights into you and who you are and what you stand for. And I'm really grateful for that because it really expressed to me a lot more than just reading your profile. I got to know what you were doing at 3 a.m. and what you meant. So it was really cool experience. And thank you for that. I want to hand the show back over to Sinette for closure and hang in with us. We close with a bang. So here we go.
Thank you, my miracle man. So, my beautiful Catryn, when we say goodbye, please just stay on the line. We want to ask you how you're feeling after the show as well. So, my beautiful viewers, I just know that you loved the show today and you loved all Catherine's beautiful answers. And she's in the Guinness Book of Record twice.
So
Twice.
cool.
How amazing. So I just wanted to say thank you, my beautiful miracle man, for being the host. Thank you, my beautiful Krista and Laura, for being co-hosts. And beautiful Catherine, thank you for bringing us sparkles and a delight with all your answer. My beautiful viewers, are you ready to have a dance with us? But I have to ask my beautiful co-host and our beautiful spotlight author first. Will you have a dance with me?
I would love
Of
Absolutely.
course, yes.
to.
My beautiful viewers on E360, will you have a dance with us? They said yes, they
Yeah.
said here we go.
I love those giggles. Here we go.
Walking on sunshine or dancing in the rain. Sprinkle me with fairy dust so I can fly away. Smiling at a moonbeam or squinting in the sun.
Oh, you look all
Sprinkle me
beautiful.
with